This is Leland Hardy and his sister Judith Llewellyn arriving at the home of Bubba Marsh's mother. And we're showing up at some families down here in Little Washington, North Carolina, where my father, Melvin Hardy, grew up. We're now coming to see the Marshes. And, yep.
He had only one daughter. He had
one child.
4 children. No. He had 4 children. Melvin Sr., Melvin Jr., Gilbert, and they lived down here. I was born in New York. And you were born in Philadelphia.
Right. I was born in Philadelphia. So you knew my mother and father when she lived down here.
Was that was with Melvin when they lived here. They lived on Bridge Street.
They lived on Bridge Street. See, I see. There's a lot of history.
That would have been Boopie and Gilbert.
And your mom,
Avis.
what was Melvin's wife's name?
Avis. You remember her?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So we're going. I got the papers in the car, but we're gonna go get the papers and list all the Marshes that we had. But Clarence Marshall married Patience Marshall.
Marsh.
Marsh, not Marshall. Marsh.
Marsh.
That's what I said. I meant Marsh. That's what I meant. So, Clarence. What did I just say a second ago?
Your grandma lived on 9th Street.
Right. Leela.
Right, Leela. Right.
And at the time,
she worked in the convent, right?
Huh?
She worked in the convent.
She worked for the
for the nuns.
For the nuns. And at the time, I was living on 9th Street, on Gladding Street, right around the corner from where your grandma lived.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
And tell me your name again. Blanche.
Marsh.
And so you married. Your husband is Samuel Marsh. David Marsh. David Marsh. Okay.
Well, I wonder if that's the same Samuel Marsh that I have written in my papers, because you don't know his father's name.
His father's name was William. William Marsh.
What's your son's name? How many children do you have?
I have 3.
Is Bubba one of them?
I have a son named Samuel David Marsh Jr.
Right.
They call him Bubba.
Okay, that's Bubba
right.
then. Okay.
Is that who answered the phone? That's who I was talking to.
No, you were talking to Arnold Marsh.
Okay. Okay.
You want to come in, please?
Yeah, definitely for a minute. I want to go. Go ahead. But I also want to get.
How you know that I have a son that they call Bubba?
I just came from the family reunion.
We just left the family reunion of the Learys, Gorhams, and Pierces.
Right.
Well, he wasn't to the family reunion.
I know that, but
wasn't.
Other people were that mentioned him. That's how we got your phone number.
Right.
That's how you got my phone number.
From various people over there.
I have, and see, my husband had a brother that they called Bubba too.
Okay.
But
they were talking about your son.
Right, they're talking about your son, Bubba, because they said, we'll call Bubba's mother.
Right.
Because Bubba, see, we was over here at...
We were over at Ernestine
Gorham Pierce's house. And she was
Right.
She was Leela's, her mother or father was Leela's cousin.
And she was not home. Okay, she used to belong to the Episcopal. She used to belong to the Episcopal Church.
Right.
We were church members. Come on in, cause the flowers.
Yeah, we don't want them in. Now, where were you born?
I was born in Pitt County. That's the next county. Which, did you come through Greenville, North Carolina?
Yeah. And I saw Pitt County. I saw the signs for Pitt County.
Okay, I was born in Pitt County. And then...
You got a light you can turn on for me?
Parents moved to...
Grab that, G.
You want me to...
Turn...
Oh, sorry.
You read it? Yeah, And then my parents moved to... They were from Chocowinity. And they had moved to Pitt County, which is... They moved right across from Washington. Then after I was born, they went back to Chocowinity.
Okay. Okay.
My parents were from Chocowinity.
So they would have known, that's what I'm telling you, they would have known the Marshes, that my grandmother, my mother's mother, was a Marsh, Mary Louise Marsh.
See, Avis...
Even though my father went to Philadelphia, met my mother in Philadelphia, and then brought her back down here, by coincidence, her mother was a Marsh.
Right.
And they just told him when he went up to Philly, they said, well, you might want to get with Mary Louise. She got a nice daughter up there or something or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then he came up there, met her, and he brought her back down here. Both my brothers were born here. Then they moved to New York, lived in Harlem. She was born in Harlem Hospital. Then they moved to Philly where we ended up making our home. I was born there.
Is Melvin has died?
Yeah, he just passed 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Just.
And his wife, and the wife that he had down here, she dead.
Right, and he only had one wife,
Mm-hmm.
my mother. She died in 92.
Okay. Well, let's see, Sam and I live on, they lived on Bridge Street, and I lived on the street right behind them.
Do you remember their exact address on Bridge Street by chance?
I don't remember the address. But it's they lived on Bridge Street, right. The school is the old P.S. Jones School is right there.
P.S. Pierce.
P.S. Jones School,
Jones.
And it's 4 apartments, and they had one of the apartments was their apartment.
Really?
Mhm.
Is it still standing? Those buildings?
Oh yeah, the building is still there. Cause see, in front of the building was the school. There wasn't no house on but one side. Okay, and the house where they lived in, it was 4 apartments there, and the end of it was to 9th Street, on the street that your grandma used to live on.
Right.
Do you remember her exact address by chance? Leela Gorham's address?
No, I don't remember Leela Gorham's address, because they told the house down where she used to live
Yes,
in.
they did.
And Henry Gorham, that was he Lila's brother or Lila's cousin? He moved there.
Okay.
Now, what was Lila's husband's name?
I don't know. I didn't know him.
Okay.
What you do is there for consistency. Just keep holding this down while I go get them papers with all the Gorham names on them. Just keep
Okay.
And what you say y'all been to Raleigh to what now?
Just keep it going.
Okay, we went to Raleigh to the Leary Gorham Pierce family reunion, and the only reason we found out about that was because when my father died, we kept the house in Philadelphia that we grew up in, that we were raised in, and my brother goes back and forth from New York to Philadelphia like twice a month to make sure the house is okay and keep it clean and all that stuff and get the mail. So he got the mail, and it just so happened to have an invitation for the family reunion addressed to my father and family. And so he told me about it, and we determined to come down here and find out more about our family lineage, because we're related. Even if it's by marriage, we're related, because I have Marsh blood, you have Marsh by marriage, but that makes we're still family, you know? And so we're just trying to find family and get reconnected with people. And
Right. Now, the names that I know are Marshes were, of course, Sidney Marsh, who was Mary Louise Marsh's father, my grandmother's father, so he was my grandfather. And he married great-grandfather. He married Patience Marsh. They had several daughters and sons. Mary Louise Marsh, okay, who knew Leela, my grandmother. Hattie Marsh, Cora Lee Marsh, Edna Marsh, and Mildred Marsh.
I didn't know any of them.
Right. Now, did you know the Littles? Because Cora married Lawrence Little, who was also from down here. Lawrence Little. That was Uncle Lawrence. And then they somehow in here, Samuel Marsh was the oldest boy. And then Sidney the third. Samuel Marsh was Sidney Marsh's oldest son.
Samuel Marsh was William Marsh, Sidney Marsh's brother.
That I don't know, but I can find out in a phone call.
Now I've heard the name Sidney, but I didn't know. I didn't know nobody named Sidney.
Right, and you saying that he had a brother potentially named William.
No, I was just asking you.
Okay.
That was my father-in-law's name, William Marsh.
Okay. So Dot would know.
Right. Unfortunately.
Her.
Right. Do you know
No, what was her maiden name?
Doris Whitley Bryant. Doris Whitley. They had the Whitley Funeral Home for a long time.
She married
She married Tommy Bryant, who was adopted.
Thomas Bryant. I remember Doris.
Do you?
Well, that's my cousin.
Yeah.
Lives right in Harlem on 110th and First.
Been there forever.
Right. And I just saw. I'm going to get her on the phone. She's available by phone until 3 p.m.
She still living?
Yeah. Oh, and fit as a fiddle. She set the age record in the New York Marathon several times, running the marathon up into her 70s. 26.2 miles.
Where are her children?
They still around, all of them around, except for what's called that died of an aneurysm. Remember, I was at his funeral.
Yeah.
Weren't you there?
No. Yes.
Right. And unfortunately, that number is unfortunately in that phone. But that can be put on pause.
Okay, I don't know.
Hold on a second.
Right there. Pause.